Hello, this is Dan on Follow Everton. Right, just said hit the start button. Waiting for is Jeff. Jeff is back. See if we get a clash this time. We're on the same wavelength. You're already there, ain't you? There you go. I don't need to add you in. You're already in, ain't you? Here we go. Just getting his drink ready. I think this is going to be quite a serious one, to be fair, because there's a lot to talk about. I don't think they've left us with nothing to talk about. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Interesting game. Very interesting. I was supposed to go to this game. Unfortunately, things went wrong. And I didn't end up there. So
that's a blessing. It's genuinely a blessing.
Don't even feel like that... I know what you're saying. I would have been pissed off with the result, but I felt sorry for the fans. I felt like I needed to be there and take the loss with them because they was trying. They were singing. You could hear them. And
we are actually live. I've just realised. Sorry.
Yeah, we're live, mate.
Sorry.
But I felt sorry for the fans. I told everyone you're going to make your drink anyway. Ready? Just professional start, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I felt sorry. I felt sorry for the fans, Jeff. I really did because I could hear them, and it was a performance where our fans was there in a big crowd, but what as a fan do you catch on to there? I mean, you're singing, but the players gave them nothing.
I just described
nothing,
and for anyone, you'll know exactly what I mean. Everton are sex without an orgasm. Like,
I don't think it was even sex today, mate.
It's ultimately pointless.
I don't think we even got our clothes off.
We wriggle around a bit, but like,
I don't think we were wriggled. I literally think it was a kiss at the door. A kiss at the door, and no action after that happened. Do you know what I mean? It was
exactly. It's just like, you know.
Oh, that's probably the highlight of my freaking game. That is just that conversation. You know what I mean?
We are literally just. Oh, we're the most pointless team in football at the minute. We are, and it's not a case of, you know.
Comments are coming.
Were they trying? I don't know. It's hard to say that they were trying, but I think that was.
There's going to be
a microcosm of everything about us, because that was not. That was. Let's be clear about this. That was not Newcastle's full team. That wasn't Newcastle's full team. They had more players. They had players injured. That striker, I can't remember his name, the one they signed from Spain.
Isaac, whatever his name is.
Maximilian.
Isaac, yeah. Maximilian. That's
the guy. Who's the guy you hate? The winger. Maximum. Oh yes, a Maximum.
Yeah, Maximum.
Sorry.
Maximum. Yeah, Saint Maximum.
So they were literally, you know, they were sort of a bit down to the bare bones. They didn't play very well. They scored a goal, and that was enough because we offered nothing. I don't think we had a shot on target, or if we might have had one shot, like in the whole game. It was.
There's a few people on here.
It was pathetic.
Just saying, all these people on, we are going to talk quite a lot because there's a lot to talk about, but we are acknowledging you're on. We can see your comments. We will read the comments out that we can. Kevin Kraft, Dave Weston, TJ Mid, all here, Nicky H, all come on, because we want to get the viewers up, because I do feel like this is one where me and Jeff are going to say what we think, but I feel like I want you to offload what you think as well, because this was a game where I feel like, Jeff, we needed to be a lot better. I mean, we had the big argument last time about the other two games, and rightly so. Like, we both had different opinions and we stuck to them. But this game was different because me and you both wanted more this Newcastle game than what we got.
And this is like
you say, a weak team
as well. We're not very good. Right. Let's be honest and let's be real here. We're not very good. Like, you know, we can we can paper over some cracks, and we can sort of huff and puff about a bit, and you can talk about work rate or whatever. The truth is, we're not very good. We're just not
Well,
very good. We don't
let's
have
break
any
this
threat.
down.
Yeah, we don't have a threat. We've got wingers who offer nothing. We've got strikers who are either unfit or not very good. We've got a midfield that should have energy but seems to get caught out all the time. We're just not very good. That's just a simple fact. We're not a very good team.
Let's break it down to keep it interesting for these lot here. Then let's pull out your head. We'll just hit a few points on simple. Why like when we've got three centre midfielders, Onana, Iwobi, and Garner Gay, did we look like we had no energy? Did they look so jet lagged? Did shot like the goal that Newcastle scored? They didn't get closed down. They had that much time on the ball with three centre mids. Now, I thought, Jeff, with this game, and you probably thought the same, I thought that Newcastle was going to get no time in the middle of the park with our three centre midfielders because I thought we was going to be energetic. But they look so lazy. Why? Why are they like this? Is this not the right combination, Jeff? Is it not the right combination?
No, it's not. It's not. And I think that the problem is what is the right combination? Because
I've been thinking that whole game while watching it.
Like who, realistically, who could you say, oh, let's swap that person for that person and we'll be better? Who? Like that was probably about, other than Patterson, you could argue that was as strong a side as we put out all season. You've got sort of Gray and Gordon, DCL up top. You've got your three strong midfielders. You've got your two good central defenders. Mikalenko is your number one left back, whether you like him or not. You've got your number one goalie, and you might have your number two right back, but he's still an international. He's our captain and whatever. So that wasn't a weak side that we put out today. That was about as good as we've got. That was it. That was us. That was our best team that we put out on the pitch today. And our best team is good enough. The
thing is though, the team that we put out, I agree with you, it was the best team. Do I think they all played poor? Yes. Do I think Mikalenko wasn't that good? Didn't really do anything for me on the left. It's frustrating. I'm not just going to point at Mikalenko, by the way, because I'm going to go through at least a lot of players. Well, I could probably say every player didn't play that well today. Every player. I can't think of one good player today. Normally I'd pull one out like Tarkowski, but even he had a bit of a sham. But I can't think of any player today that played good. And that's really bad, isn't it, thinking about it? I never actually thought of it like today. What player would you say played good? I think even our centre-backs look like they were... It feels like, for me, the problems are getting worse, Jeff.
Pickford,
he's probably the only player that didn't do anything majorly bad.
Yeah, he couldn't really do anything about that goal. Other than that, obviously the situation with him going to Newcastle and the fans getting on his case and whatever, he handled the game quite well. He was fine. Defensively, realistically, we weren't that bad. They weren't all over us and creating loads and loads of chances. So defensively, again, we were fairly solid. The midfield, did we get overrun? No, not really. We were fairly okay in midfield as well. They didn't really, they weren't ripping us to pieces or anything like that. So it wasn't like that they, they were all over us and totally dominated the game. Second half, we come out, we put up some huff and puff, but ultimately, and I'm going to go back to the same point that I've made over and over and over again. We've got nothing up front. I know we like Mopai.
Here.
Mopai isn't very good.
Here's some comments. We're going to talk about everything, but I just hate to blank you on the comments because I love you all. So we'll say what we're going to say. We'll keep talking about what we're talking about, but sometimes we'll put a comment in and we'll say what we think. DCL was a waste of space. I'm actually going to say I thought DCL looked like he's going to be good again. I think he made the runs. He didn't really get anything, did he? He holded the ball up.
Service.
No, I felt good with DCL up top, but the thing
it's nice
is,
to see him back on the pitch and fit and playing.
I was happy to see him, but I can't really slate DCL for this game because he made the runs, he holded the ball up. But if you haven't got no midfielder that's going to give him put him in, a striker needs to be fed. DCL didn't get fed for me today. Someone said, Jeff, you answered this one. Oh no, and I did well today. To be honest, what do you think on that?
I don't think he did, to be honest. I'm pretty sure that it was him giving away the ball that led to their goal. He looked slow, clumsy. I don't think he did much of anything, to be honest. He didn't really offer a lot. I think he got clear once in the game.
I don't think
trust the ball to one of their players.
What do you think on this, Jeff? I don't think he's found who he is yet. I don't think he's found himself because when he plays centre mid and he sits, he looks bored, you don't know what to do and he can't use all of his quality. It's like he needs to know what he's going to do. Do you know sometimes when we're countering and he just knows he's got to go for it, then he looks a bit better when he runs. When he pushed, when we played, the only reason probably that person thought Onana looked good is because when we changed it at the end to Garner and James Garner and Garner Gay, and Onana played in front of him, it looked a little bit better for me. It looked and I'm not saying it's better because Iwobi come off. It's better because we played a number 10.
Going back to what you said before, is what could we do to make this better that might actually work? And the only thing I can think of is going 4-4-2, because then Gordon and Gray can be actual wingers, or whoever can be actual wingers, and playing Onana in the sort of Marouane Fellaini role with a striker, because he's a big lump and he gets up there and he can bully people about and whatever. And so if you played a 4-4-2, that might suit him better. But realistically, that's clutching at straws, because I just think overall we're just not a good side. We're just not very good. And I hate saying it, and I hate being, I want to be hopeful and optimistic. But realistically, what we've got to do is get through now we've got 3 or 4 games, which hopefully we can get something a bit more out of. We get towards the sort of, if we can get through, like I say, with sort of 15, 18 points by the World Cup. And then we need additions in January. God, please, Jesus Christ. Can we have a proper winger and a proper striker? Please, God, Jesus. I don't even believe in that nonsense, but I'm literally praying. I'm praying that we can just buy somebody. And not at the end of January. Not at the end of January either, because there's another God knows how many games. I mean, on the 1st of January, I want somebody lined up to come in who is going to make a difference to this side, because we are spineless.
I think it's a lot
wasteful. Ugh.
People like us because we always clash, but I think it's more than I don't think it's that. I think we're not a good side in 2-3 positions, but I think we are a good side. I think we're an underperforming side, and I'm going to be a shitbag now, and I'm going to be a proper shitbag. I think their manager is getting better out of Newcastle than what Lampard is getting out of our team. I think Eddie Howe is a good manager. And I looked at Newcastle today and I thought, they're not that good. We can get out of them here. They are good in the league and they have got good stats, best defensive record. But I look at the players and I think they're not that good. But Eddie Howe has got them playing so good. He's got every player that plays for him playing to their best. Has Lampard got every player of our player playing to the best? No. No. Well, you, Jeff, you hit me on that. I think our players are playing 60%. 60%.
I think that it is time to start questioning the manager, and I mean, it's not really time to start questioning the manager in some respects, because it's not like he's setting up to lose, and it's not like he's trying. It's not like he's trying not to win.
He sports Everton as well, doesn't he, Eddie Howe? He went for the Everton job.
I wanted Eddie Howe when he was at Bournemouth. I wanted Eddie Howe when he was at Bournemouth, and I said he'd be the perfect one for us. And do you know how much grief I got, mate, for saying I wanted Eddie Howe? He's not good enough. We should be looking higher. We should be looking for better than him. Blah, 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 blah. But as usual, I state my opinion and got shot down, and then I get proved right later on.
Well, he made. I mean, we are talking about Everton, and that's going to be the topic. The main thing is about Everton, but Eddie Howe, you've got to mention him because you look at both teams and the reason they was good. But Eddie Howe, I thought a cracking thing that he did, which sometimes Lampard delays on. The moment Joe Linton got a yellow card, Eddie Howe brought him off at half time. And I thought, I thought Joe Linton's going to get a red. Here we go. He's going to leave him on. But Eddie Howe was on it straight away. He's got a football brain, hasn't he, Jeff? Eddie Howe has.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily think that was because he was going to get a card. I think that was literally because...
good substitution, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
coming on with energy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a change of tactics because they realised that they were a bit slow in midfield and they weren't getting a lot of possession. And that's the thing is...
It's faster, wasn't it, Jeff?
We got enough of the ball. We just didn't do anything with it because we're crap. I'm sorry, but...
The thing is, it's got to go further than that because we've got some good players. They ain't playing well. Like,
good day, sir.
He's got to get better out of them. Here we go, Ryan. Ryan is in the building, but he's just gone. I don't think Jeff. Some players ain't crap though. Like some players aren't crap.
No, they're not crap. None. Right. Okay. So let me clarify. None of them are crap. None of them are crap. They're just playing crap.
Yeah, but that's the manager's fault. He's got to get the best out of them.
But it's also the players' fault because it's on them.
They're not helping him. I agree with you completely. But I generally think that we are moving backwards. Like, what is Lampard got these doing? I don't know.
I don't say we're moving backwards. What I would say is I would put it a slightly different way and say we're not moving forwards.
We're not moving anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've fixed some issues that we had. We are better defensively. We are a little bit stronger in midfield, but that's come at the cost of we're utterly
we can hear, right?
Front. We're
go on, Ryan.
Give
us a bit of. Oh, he's gone again.
He's gone again.
I think it's a lot more than up front. I know you said if we get a winger and a striker, it's sorted. I don't think it's sorted there because our centre midfield didn't look good. Mykolenko isn't doing what I want him to be doing, left back. Coleman, obviously, we know isn't going to give the up and down right back. You can't afford to have someone that's not got the all-round game, can you? Like, you need to have everything going for you in each position. The fact Coleman can't go up much now and he just sits back.
Mykolenko is John Joe Kenny.
I don't like to call players, to be fair, because we've got to get behind them. But I do think Mykolenko
is a solid
basic
enough
today.
Player, but he's very unspectacular and doesn't offer very much. He does a sort of solidish defensive job. But other than that, he doesn't offer a lot. So he's basically... He's basically.
Well, the thing is, though, if you're not going to offer, if Mykolenko's not going to offer much with his attacking game, then you've got to be the dog's bollocks in defence with your defensive game. If you ain't going to have that, do you know what I mean? And I think he's okay, but he ain't major left back. Like, worrying. Ryan, can we hear you now?
Yeah, now I'm just listening to you. I mean, I didn't catch most of the first 15 minutes. I had it on in the back of the car on the way home. I mean, sorry, no, your reaction. I saw most of the Everton game. It was just more of the same. We never really looked like scoring. There was a few tactical things that I didn't think we addressed. I mean, Newcastle, were they playing 5 at the back, or was that just my imagination? It always looked like they had 5 defenders in a back line.
To be honest, My stream was really poor, but I think they played 4 at the back.
I think they played 4, but I just think their defensive midfielders probably make it look like 5.
At the end, it was a 5, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, at the end, yeah. Sorry, at the end, definitely so. Yeah.
Some thoughts are that their fullbacks pushed our wingers really, really high, forced them backwards. So every time Damari Gray or Gordon got a touch, they had someone right on them. They couldn't turn. They had no space to work with. So that was one thing they did to nullify our threat. They waited for us to make a mistake, be out of shape, and then drive through the middle of the pitch, where we've got likes of Onana and Iwobi jogging around doing very little. 2 fullbacks who are afraid to go forward because they can't leave the 2 centre halves isolated because they're slow. But, the whole thing is dysfunctional. I look at them and I think, you're painful to watch because you've got no midfielder willing to go beyond to break the lines to support Calvert-Lewin. The wingers are on the touchline, but there's no space there because they're being man-marked. They need to come off the touchline. And I'm sorry, but I know this might sound very reactionary, but players like... Hang on, let's hold off a sec while I'm speaking. Players like... We'll come to the comments in a minute, Jeff, just because it's distracting when they're on the screen at the same time.
Oh, sorry.
The players like Michaelenko, I just caught the end of it.
I keep trying to switch it
I'm sorry, but he's shit. He's shit. I'm saying it now. He's shit. I've said it for months. He's awful. He's technically inept. He's afraid to run beyond. His touch is poor. He gets caught out of position. He's slow. We can't cross. And I think he's more of the same. And it's poor recruitment. McNeil, a bad signing. Neil Mopey, a bad signing. They're not the solutions. It's not good enough. I'm sorry. Frank Lampard also, he's got a lot of goodwill. I think a lot of people respect him and like him. There's only so far that'll take you if you have a string of bad results this season when he has brought in Onana on big money and he has been allowed to sign some players. I think there's going to be some serious questions asked. I didn't see a game plan. I didn't see us looking like a threat. I think there's more threat in Liverpool Lime Street Station on a Friday night. I think more threat there. And it's toothless, guys. It's painful to watch. You're sitting there, and I said, me and David were sat in the restaurant watching it the whole time. And I said, just turn it off, David. We don't look like scoring. So many injuries, so many stoppages, so many breaks in play, so many throw-ins. Everton players were bullied in the first half, second to everything, second to every second ball, chasing blind alleys, pressing as individuals, not collectively as a group, being played through. I thought the only player that stood up for himself and wasn't bullied was James Tarkowski, and I thought he was the best player on the pitch. And I really have to ask big questions. You're asking me, Kevin, saying, what do I suggest? Well, I think Crystal Palace at home is a different kettle of fish, but I just want to see a little bit more bravery. It's very conservative. It almost reminds me as like when we set up away from home against the Man City and we would camp, or Arsenal traditionally, and we'd camp everyone behind the ball. And we'd eventually lose anyway. We concede in the 85th minute or something. We'd eventually concede, but we wouldn't have any impact on the game. It felt like that again. It feels like a return to that. Toothless. I can go on and on and on, but I'm sure you've got
it's one of those where, like I said, I'm watching this team, and we've changed. I mean, from the team that started last season, probably like there's only a couple of players remaining, and I'm watching them play, and I'm thinking we look exactly the same as we did last year. Like if we get Nikki, actually, my mate, she made a comment.
Loads coming on as well,
and basically it was along the lines of, oh yeah, but we started well, and it's like, yeah, we do that all the time. We start well for about 5 or 10, maybe 15 minutes, where we seem to have a little bit of energy, and then the opposition sort of sit there, soak it up for a little bit, realize that there's absolutely no threat to us, and then they just take over and dominate. And it happens time after time after time. We just get dominated, because teams have got energy. They've got energy, and we haven't. We look like we're still in bed most of the time.
it's a good point, but also I just want to say, when the opposition know that your two fullbacks are not going to run on beyond, they're not going to cause any threat, and your two midfielders aren't going to run beyond the striker and make clever passes and clever runs, it's easy to play against. If I was going out against Everton, I wouldn't feel nervous or anxious. I'd relish the opportunity. I'd say
no, but that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I mean.
Do you know?
We run around for a bit, and you know, we sort of try and look a bit like we're trying to do something.
But where's the energy
But
gone?
it's ultimately fruitless, and then we just end up sitting back and giving the team possession, and then they just run rings around us because we look like we're half asleep and running in lead boots. We're just a lethargic team.
The thing is, energy can only do you so much. Our midfielder just didn't have the energy. But I said I didn't want this player back, and this game, this is a random one for you in the comments as well. I was thinking about Rodriguez. No, not address it. The problem is not our sitting centre midfielders. The problem is the number 10. I miss Sigurdsson. I miss Rodriguez. We haven't got no footballer in front of in those centre mids. Onana, Gonagai, and Iwobi. I know we've bigged Iwobi up, and Iwobi has played well, but he is still not the craftsman in centre midfield. Gomez was supposed to be it. Gomez wasn't. We wanted Gomez to be it.
What wins you football games? Goals. The players you've just listed there, Sigurdsson would hit double figures, more or less every season, reliably so, there or thereabouts. And you can guarantee if James Rodriguez was playing 38 matches,
he'd find these good players, Ryan. He'd find the good players. He'd not just score goals. Rodriguez would find Gordon in good positions. Rodriguez would find DCL making the runs. He gets on the ball. You need a baller, a proper footballer. Like we wanted Eriksen. Eriksen would have been good. We need someone to play with these fast midfielders that we've got that's just going to get on the ball and play football, because we've got no one. Like they've got that Brazilian Newcastle, and he's absolutely incredible at it. He dictates the play all the time.
Goals win games. You've gone from James Rodriguez, who's going to chip in with 8 to 10 goals. Sigurdsson, 8 to 10 goals. You've got Calvert-Lewin with better players around him, fully fit, 15 goals, and Richarlison double figures. They're already at 45 goals. That's enough to keep a team in the league, and more potentially. You expect a couple of your midfielders and your centre-backs and everyone else to contribute in there as well. This now, and we said at the start of the season, and I said it all throughout all my summer streams with you guys and the transfer windows, I said there's no goals in this team. I listed it out. I said we will literally be lucky to get 5 goals from your wingers all season. If Calvert-Lewin doesn't stay fit, I don't see Rondon scoring. Rondon doesn't score. Iwobi will chip in 2-3 goals. Onana's, you've seen his finishing. It's so substandard. He can't head a ball. He can't finish to save his life. You've got Idrissa Gueye. He's scored 1 a season maybe. And then Tarkowski and Cody. It's difficult when you're the only 2 players who can offer a threat from a set piece to not be marked by 2-3 people. So they don't get the space. I think you get 2-3 goals. We've scored 7 or 8 goals a season in 11 matches. Now, we've played over a quarter of the season. Over the course of a season, that's 7, 14, 21, 28 goals. We'd be lucky to score 25 goals this season. It's relegation fodder. So if we do not invest or have a massive change of approach. Now, when I say change of approach, there's 2 problems here. Defense is too slow, which means we can't play a higher line through fear of getting done in behind. Fullbacks offer zilch going forward. Why aren't they playing a little bit more reactive, tucking in, as Moyes used to have? One fullback would sit and tuck in. It would usually be Tony Hibbert, and allow that midfield to have a little bit more freedom. Iwobi, Onana, actually get forward, get close to Calvert-Lewin. Then you've got the problem is, well, if you do that, who's in the midfield creating? There's no one who can shift the ball. There's no one who can pass the ball. There's no one who can distribute. So it's a very, very dysfunctional approach. My solution is, and this is a pipe dream really, Mykolenko, get him out the team, get Ben Godfrey in at left back, have him as the reactive pace player, and allow the whole team to push up a little bit more and get everyone closer to the striker. Because I think Mope isolated, he's 5'8", getting marked by Dan Burns, 6'7". He's never going to get a sniff. I think you've got to get players closer and around others and play as a team and not as individuals isolated. It's not going to happen for us. We'll sniff out a few wins. I think the games we won this season we weren't good in.
It's funny that you've just said that. It's funny you've just said that because I was thinking the same thing in my head. Like, I think Cody and Tarkowski are good, but I think they're too deep. I think we need to find a way to push our defence up. The more you push your defence up,
30 yards deeper.
The reason I think
they were 30 yards deeper than the rest of the midfield. Cody and Tarkowski were about 20 to 30 yards behind the rest of them. It's like they hold their position, and then there's a huge gap in front of them, and then you've got the two wingers stuck on the wing and Calvert-Lewin up front on his own, trying to play off scraps.
But I think that the point on what you said is true, and I was thinking the same thing, Ryan, is that I thought the exact same thing. That Ben Godfrey, I would play him left back and then play Patterson right back, and then the centre-backs
have got
the speed. They've got the speed. I was thinking Vinagre, but why isn't he playing him? Like, if Mikalenko's looking a bit off...
He must be doing nothing in training to get in ahead of Mikalenko.
Ben Godfrey was good. The only reason... I know what you're saying about Vinagre, Jeff, but Ben Godfrey was good left back.
I'm thinking
very
of
good
generally, like, going back to the three at the back system that we started out with.
Well, Holgate's available next game, isn't he?
Yeah, but then basically having... If we bring Holgate in...
Fullbacks are doing nothing.
Hang on. So if you bring that play the three, then you play Vinagre instead of Mikalenko, and you play Iwobi on the right hand side. They can both get up and they can both get crosses in or whatever. Then you have the two in midfield, and then you just play two strikers.
Jeff, Mikalenko technically isn't good enough. We've established that, and defensively, he's not spectacular. He gets caught out. I think he's decent 1v1 and he's solid. It's like a centre-back playing left-back for me. So I don't see the issue with Ben Godfrey. I think he had his best run.
No, I know, but he's not available till Christmas. So we can't do anything. We can't do anything about it.
Peter says here, sorry, Ryan, that's even worse. Ben Godfrey at left-back. But I actually think you do lose a little bit of balance, but actually what he will bring in terms of his recovery pace will help us to allow to play a little bit higher up. And also, he had his best run of games for us at left back. Players are scared of pace. They're not scared of someone who spoofs the ball over and can't play an 18-yard pass.
But they're only scared of pace if there's an end product.
The thing is, they're scared of pace defensively. The fact is, the opposition are whipping crosses in our box and they're beating our left back and right back at times. We're getting a lot of balls whipped in the box. When we played Godfrey left back, not many got by him. I can remember when he was playing in that position, because the problem with Godfrey, it's frustrating because he's one of the fastest players in the league. They all said it the other day, like Ben Godfrey is the fastest player in the Premier League. Where do you play Godfrey to use his strength there? Because he plays centre-back and you don't always get to use that. And I loved it when Godfrey used to just bomb it down. And when someone ran at him, you knew no one was ever going to beat him. No one was ever going to beat Godfrey when they ran at him, was he? Defensively,
no. If you play a three at the back, then that's where Godfrey can come into the situation, because he can run at players with the ball, and we've seen him do it before.
Jeff,
but our midfield is just too poor. We've got no real creativity, so the only way we're going to find some creativity is from the wing.
You're talking about a lack of creativity there from midfield. And you look, I use David Moyes and Martinez's teams as an example. We always had combination play on the wings to unsettle opponents, clever runs inside and outside. In this 4-3-3, I don't think the Moyes system was that dissimilar. We played a 4-5-1 a lot of the time. You could say it was a 4-3-3, 4-5-1. The left and right-sided centre-backs are meant to go across to the wing to cover the fullback when they go forward. They're also meant to be in the build-up, creating triangles, creating overloads, creating overlaps. So you would say Mikalenko, Iwobi, and Gray, between the three of them, could create some triangles. We don't have any. It's always like an individualistic piece of brilliance we're relying from a winger.
That's the problem.
Damari Gray's got to beat three people and then cross it in, or Gordon's got to turn someone and beat two people. It's a joke. You know, you can't win a football match on individual brilliance.
If we can see this, though, Ryan, this is what frustrates me. If we can see this, then why isn't something being done? Because I agree with you there, and you've hit the nail on the head. And I was thinking that this game as well, because I do hardcore analyse it. Our players look like they've never played together. Our three centre midfielders should look like best mates. Like, yeah, come on, we know what you're going to run. Let's ping it about. Because they're training together every week, and they're doing these drills where they're passing it 2 meters apart. And they look like they don't know each other. Like you've just said, the left back, the right back and the right winger should be doing interlock passes, like you say, like the Baines and Pienaar sort of combination. So we should be able to pass it on the wings and we should be able to pass it good in the middle. We can't pass it good in the middle and we can't pass it on the wing. So all it ever does is comes back. So what I'm thinking is, why hasn't Lampard got this team looking like they're all supposed to be together? It looks like nothing goes. Nothing,
Because
honestly, other than the centre back.
Players are not. I think at times today there was players not putting the effort in. Gordon jogging back, Gray jogging back. You've got Newcastle fullback Trippier, who's 32, running beyond and past him.
And Burn was well.
Exactly, and I'm sat there. Iwobi's playing like he's got lead in his glutes. Onana frustrates me because I think the lungs on him, the engine on him. I was talking about him the other day to someone, and they said because he is so big, he probably requires so much more energy, so much more fluid, so much more breath. You know, I thought, you know what? If we've had players who are monsters, he should be absolutely dominating midfield with that pace, with that presence, with that physicality to go be. You know, the thing is, you have to have players who can get beyond an opposition to pull someone else out of position.
But I think sorry, Alan, the other thing is as well is I still think fundamentally we are a mentally weak side. Like, and what I mean by that is they don't look like a team desperate to win. We look like a team that plays football in our head. If you know what I mean.
Doesn't that go back to what you just said, what we said there, which was like when we used to play games away at Arsenal, for example, under Moyes, even in Moyes' prime, and we'd go there and we'd try and shut up shop for a 0-0 for 90 minutes, and we wouldn't have a go, and we'd still end up losing 1-0 or 2-0.
I can't hear anyone.
Yeah, I think you froze, Jeff, to be fair. Go on,
Did
carry
you
on,
hear
Ryan. Yeah, I can hear you. It's just that Jeff froze. His screen froze.
I think he has froze. It felt like that today. I mean, we had 15 minutes where we were. It was very, 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 very scrappy, and I think that suited us. The scrappy first 15 minutes. There's Jeff. He's shaking his head. He's coming back.
No, but I'm shaking my head because the whole stream just disappeared for a little while, and I don't think anyone could see us. I think it's because it's raining.
We had 15 minutes where I think the scrappy approach helped us. I actually thought if we could last 90 minutes like that, a 0-0 wouldn't be a bad result. And then it all went to shit show because what was happening, wingers getting isolated, getting pushed very, very high. We were being pressed very high. We had no solutions. We played very slow in possession. And the minute we lost the ball, we were completely all over the place. There wasn't the shape there, and Newcastle would run at us. Eventually, they'd get through very, very easily, outrageously easy, actually. And they'd have a chance after chance. And they wouldn't necessarily be really clear-cut chances, but they were opportunities to score where they'd get into our box. Meanwhile, we would fall into their traps of getting caught in the wide positions. Calvert-Lewin up front chasing shadows. The longer the game went on, I felt there was no way we were going to get back into it. It was a case of Newcastle shutting up shop. They went 5 at the back. We had no answers. You've got the centre-backs playing sideways passes to each other. No one in midfield dropping in with an ounce of technical ability to change the game. I didn't think that James Garner did anything when he came on. Same for Dwight McNeil. Neil Mopay, dreadful. Couldn't trap a bag of cement when he came in. He was turning into trouble. And I just really wanted to turn it off. And that's why I put for this description, painful, because that's how I describe it. Whereas
but I feel like a lot of players are on the pitch and Lampard hasn't got them set up right, Ryan. I feel like it just feels like what they're supposed to do is wrong. It doesn't feel like they've got, like Lampard knows.
You're better off just sticking Rondon and Calvert-Lewin up, going 4-4-2, pushing everyone up and saying we're just going to boost it in the box and play.
I don't know what you two think on this. This was the worst game I think we've played this season because, and the reason I say this, I know we've come up against Thingy, but I always feel like we're going to come back, and this is the first game where I felt like Newcastle was going to get another. I thought Newcastle was going to get another.
Newcastle didn't play well. They were set up.
That's what I'm saying. There wasn't. We was trying.
Eddie Howe is a much better coach than Frank Lampard.
Yeah, he is. I said this at the start.
I really hate to say it. He's a better coach than Lampard. He's a better coach than Lampard, Eddie Howe. I've seen more from Eddie Howe in his transformation than I've seen from Frank Lampard. I've seen more. I thought he tactically outclassed us today. It was very clever. They knew if they stopped the Everton wingers, restricted the space, We didn't let them turn. That we got nothing in midfield. We've got an isolated striker and fullbacks that don't cross the halfway line. I just want to touch on something here. I mean, the Man United game at home, we weren't necessarily bad. I think Man United were a class above us. We still had chances. I felt like we could still score. Spurs and this game were just like, we're making up the numbers type of thing. You know, we're just going to turn up. We'll knock it around a bit. We haven't got any ideas what to do. And when you score, that's it. I just feel like you can't play like that. We've got a massive game now against Crystal Palace. I don't think we can afford to drop points. We've got 2 wins all season in 11 games. We've got 4 draws. So we're on 10 points from 11 matches. Over the course of the season, it's barely survival. Over 38 games, that is barely survival. It's about 36 points. And I don't think the standard of the league this season is as bad as I've seen it. I think Fulham and the other newly promoted teams aren't, you know, they're not losing every single match week in, week out like we've seen other teams coming up.
Yeah,
Bournemouth on it as well. Now there's every team's good. There's not one bad team.
Well.
Exactly. I mean, I still think we're a bad group of players. You know, as Yandel said on the group, you know, we sign scraps, we sign a few cast-offs, but I do think we've got balance. I mean, I just a lot of it comes
balance,
to
but not drive and not ambition.
A lack of fear and a lack of energy.
A
lot of fear and a lack of energy, I'd say.
Yeah,
but Lampard has still added players in good positions. We were shit last season, so we should be a lot better. And I get what you're saying. We do need a good winger to go with Gordon because Gray's not on it sometimes, or McNeil. And we do need a good striker, but we still should be a lot better than last season. Like, we've added 2 new centre-backs that are good, and we didn't have good centre-backs last season. We've added Onana and Garner Gate. These ain't shit players. Lampard's just not getting the best out of them. Lampard's not getting the best out of them.
I think Iwobi is good as the 6. I think he has the energy and the pace and the ball, the mobility in the 6. And I think since he's been moved into the 8, I'm not quite seeing that he doesn't get back in the same way. I know what you're saying about
he was better at number 6. You're right. Yeah. He was better in the 6. This is where I was thinking going back to the 3 at the back with the wing backs.
If it's Vinagre, you can't play Mikalenko left back.
Vinagre and then assumedly Patterson once he's back. I'm just saying hypothetically.
Or McNeil.
And then Onana and Garner in midfield. Not Dresser Garner, like James Garner.
Yeah.
James Garner and Iwobi in midfield. With what's the name in front, Onana, and then 2 strikers, and just like get the ball to the wings, get them to put crosses in, or just hit long balls straight through the middle, because we aren't good enough at football. We're not good enough at football to play through a team. We're not good enough to play through a team, and that's as simple as that. We are not good enough at football to play through the lines like Frank wants. We're just not good enough.
They didn't play through the lines today at all. They didn't play. There was no space.
No.
And that's why I said Newcastle were tactically very good. But just saying what you're about,
I think
Vinagre,
go on.
Bring him in for the next match. Drop Mikalenko. Say to Vinagre, you're going to come into this team, you're going to overlap, and you're going to cross the ball. Damari Gray's going to play in his sort of inside 10 position. Vinagre, go and supply Calvert-Lewin.
He's not going to do that, though, is he, Ryan? You say that, but is he going to do that?
How can you play a 4-3-3 when your fullbacks don't get forward?
No, but do you think
the point of the 4-3-3 is the fullback go forward?
I think the same, but do you think he's going to drop Mikalenko? Because I don't. And that's what frustrates me.
You've got so much energy in that midfield on paper. I don't know whether it's a myth and they actually don't have any energy. But
on what you've just said, Ryan.
Doucouré. I'd bring in Doucouré, and I don't care because he's got legs.
No, I think Doucouré should play.
The 3 midfielders don't create. The width has got to come from fullback. You can't rely on individuals to beat 2-3 players and cross it and score. It's not going to work. So I would say in this match, it's 4-3-3. The job of Iwobi on the left, the job of Onana on the left, cover your fullback. Let Vinagre get forward and get the ball into the box. Or if you're not going to do that, at least bring in the better defenders. And when Godfrey's fit and Holgate's fit,
you could argue that the best central midfield performance that we've had in the last couple of months was Tom Davis in the derby. That's because our midfield has been poo. It has been poo.
Tom Davis is supposed to be what we're crying out for, but he isn't.
No, I know. That was a facetious comment.
No, I know. I was thinking today, Jeff, like we need something in the middle that's going to create Tom. Then you think Gomez, Tom Davis, they're all supposed to be that, but they can't be that. And we need a good.
Different. It'll be.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head, Ryan. If you think about it now, this has made me laugh in the head. We didn't have a number 6, and now we've got James Garner that's a number 6. We've got Garner Guy that's a number 6. So Wobie, that's probably his best position, was number 6 when he played number 6. We haven't got any attacking midfielders.
But
who's the good attacking midfielder after that? Who is the good attacking midfielder? Who's the good attacking midfielder?
The football. I mean, for the first 45 minutes, we couldn't string a pass together. Every single attack was 1 pass, 2 passes lost. And, Newcastle didn't have to be good to beat us. It was just pathetic. Some of it was just unenforced. As I say, I keep going back to Mikalenko. Chances where he did get forward, simple passes inside.
I think Lampard's got it all wrong. I think Lampard's got it all wrong. The more it's going through my head, I think Lampard's got it all wrong. Because you know what I think now? You've just said that. I want to see us play a press. We did play it a bit last season. And when we pressed with Richarlison and all that, it put teams under pressure. I want to see us press because I think Doucouré should. Yeah, this is why I think Doucouré should come back in because Doucouré was good at pressing. That's the one thing he was good at is pressing. I want to see Onana and Doucouré. I'd play one number 6, play the 3 midfielders, but play one number 6 and then play Doucouré and Onana and say to Doucouré and Onana, get behind your attacking players and press them high and proper, put them under pressure and make them lose the ball. Because when you press teams, it makes them make mistakes like we make mistakes all the time.
There's an assumption that we're capable of doing that.
You're not.
Yeah, but we have got some.
I don't think we are. I genuinely, I know we fell out the other day over it, but I just genuinely, and I don't mean to be horrible about this, we're not very good. The players that we've got are not good enough to be even in the conversation for top 10, they're not even good enough to be in the conversation. We've got a team that is going to be battling relegation this season, and without severe additions in the summer, without serious additions in January, we're going to be looking at relegation again because we are just not very good.
But
we are good.
And fundamentally, if you want to press, and I think everyone wants to see an Everton side press. You have to press as a group. You have to press as a team.
Yeah, that's what I want, Ryan. That's what I want.
Players pressing, chasing shadows.
Yeah, we're pressing not as a group, but that's what I want. You say we haven't got the team to press. To press, all you need is speed to press. You need speed.
Right, but then you've got to be able to do something with the ball. We need to be able to do something with the ball, even if you press. If you get the win, you can press all you want. But then if you win the ball back and you can't pass it to the guy next to you, then you're just going to lose the ball and get
a lot of the time when you press, you're going to be in because they'll make a mistake. Like Man U, look at the Man U game.
If we could finish our lunch, but we can't.
I think we're going to get better chances if we press though, because I just want Gordon's fast, Gray's fast. We've got DCL who's got a bit of speed. I want to get Doucouré behind him, Onana behind him, get them and say, show some press. Let's press.
You've got to press as a team, as a unit.
Together.
The finishing has got to improve massively because when we do get chances, we are rubbish at converting. I.e. Onana, i.e. the Damari Gray chance the other day at Spurs. We had 3 chances. We should put all 3 in the back of the net. At elite Premier League level, you have to score those goals. And defensively, I just want to see have we got 3. What I want to know is have we got 3 midfielders all doing the same job? Not one of them actually doing anything different. No one willing to break beyond a striker. No one willing to get in the box. No one willing to sweep up. I'd be tempted to put Onana as the number 6, drop Idrissa Gueye, and bring in another forward player for the weekend and say to Onana, you've got the legs, you can tackle, you've got the energy and speed. I want to see it from you and change something. We have got a lot of comments. There's over 69 people watching. We've had up to 80 on the stream. I just want to ask you, if you're new to the channel, hit the like and subscribe button. We're trying to get for 1,500 subscribers, and we're very close to that milestone, which would mean a lot to all of us here on Follow Everton. I think a lot of the comments resonate with what we've said and are quite repetitive, really, in that everyone's sharing the same sentiment. Some key themes here, Jeff: lack of football brain, lack of intelligence, lack of ability to do the basics of football. Did you think the Newcastle atmosphere had something to do with it tonight? Because I didn't think they were particularly raucous.
I was only listening on TV, I was supposed to go, but I think the atmosphere sounded good. I don't like to pick another team up because Newcastle's meant to be our new rivalry, but I thought it sounded like they was quite loud. They're getting happy, ain't they? Newcastle are. They are happy.
I don't think they needed to really do much because I don't think it was an intimidating, hostile terror dome type atmosphere. I thought they supported their side, but they weren't. It wasn't like a hostile, terrifying environment for our players to play in.
No, probably not. But I could hear them all game. That's just what I mean. I could hear them all game. But they are happy. If you're playing that good, you're going to sing all game. Things are looking. That's when the atmosphere is better. Like when they are playing good. Like it's frustrating to see they're all playing their best game, and our players are all playing about 60%. And I don't feel we're shit. I just don't feel like we're set up tactically right, and I don't think our players have been drilled to play the best game they can do. Which is, I'm not saying Lampard out, but I think Lampard's not doing a good job at the minute. I really don't.
Can I just say also, can I clarify? Newcastle didn't have to play well today. I didn't think they played well.
No.
Tactically, they were clever. I think they're a decent side. I think, the league in that sort of mid bracket, there's not a lot of between the league. And also, historically, Newcastle have won diddly squat. They're hardly been pioneers of English football. And it's sad, actually, really, that they can just come in and how far we've actually slipped behind them in the space of 18 months. Because they were nearly getting relegated last season, weren't they? Until they bought.
Absolutely right, Barry.
Well, I think I was thinking that, Ryan. I think the manager change, they brought in Eddie Howe the same time we brought in Lampard, didn't they? And they was below us in the league. And I know they spent more money, but still, he's turned them around very quick. Where we are, I don't know. Like I said, Jeff said, we haven't gone backwards, but I don't feel like we've moved anywhere, and that's what we both agreed on. It's frustrating.
The recruitment's not particularly impressive, and I think it comes down to that. And I what I don't understand is every time I watch a Champions League game or a Europa League game, there are players in all these teams, and even not even in abroad, just not even in Europe, that will walk in our team. Offensive players. And I just worry, are we just going through the motions waiting for Bramley Moore?
Well, if we are, we're making a mistake because they don't want to watch Championship football in Bramley Moore. Like that's that isn't going to be an acceptable situation for people. I think that up to a point we did good business in the transfer window because I think that we addressed certain issues and that's fine, and that's fine, but we didn't finish the job, and that's the thing is we needed to bring in a striker so desperately, and it was so obvious, and we also needed to bring in a winger, and it was so obvious as well, and I said this to Dan the other day in when we were having our stress debate,
which was very entertaining.
Entertaining for you, but it wasn't for me and Jeff. We was going to headbutt each other on the live stream. We've done well.
But basically, if you look at our forward options in their entirety, they make a good bench.
Yeah, I watched it.
They make a good bench, but if you were literally to put our front three and ask any team in the Premier League, any team, and I don't care who you are, any team in the Premier League to swap for our front three, and no one would take you up on that offer because every single team in the league, from Southampton to Bournemouth to everyone else, has got a better forward line than us and looks more dangerous than us, looks more capable of scoring goals than us. We are
I think
so weak.
I think the
think
front
the
line was
both-
good enough today. I think the front line was good enough
Yeah, that was
today.
your-
It looked strong today. DCL.
forward line on paper. That I mean, and it offered
Yeah.
nothing. Didn't have a single shot. And
Exactly. It was a midfield today. It wasn't the
Yeah,
forward.
that's what I thought. That's why he went off
the
injured. He took a
midfield
knock.
was dreadful for us today.
Yeah,
the
it
wingers
wasn't even the DCL's fault.
they're selfish. They play in blind alleys. They don't get their head up. They make bad decisions. We got the three centre mids are all doing the same job. None of them do anything different. It's like three carbon copies, all passing responsibility. I don't know whether they're playing in the same sort of role, all trying to do the same thing. Jeff, I would agree that the front three that played against Spurs isn't even championship standard. Mopey, McNeil, and Gordon Gray. It's a really poor front three. I mean, I think if you saw last season, you didn't need any explanation or justification for that. It's not great, but Calvert-Lewin coming in and Gordon, I think, should be doing better.
I think it's a tactical thing though, because when listen to this carefully as well. When we had three centre backs and our wing backs was playing high, Gordon and Gray was getting closer to the striker.
Yeah.
And they was in more dangerous positions. But at the minute, we're seeing because Coleman don't get forward, Gordon is getting back and helping him, and Gordon's not being able to play his best game because he's just out on the wing and he's easier there. Yeah, if you get him in the box, it's dangerous.
When we played that way, we didn't actually have a striker, so it wasn't.
Yeah, and it was better
Gordon
though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it wasn't Gordon and Gray playing to a striker. It was just Gordon and Gray playing instead of a striker.
It enticed that. It enticed them to get into the box, though, didn't it, Jeff? It enticed them to get close. Like when we played that, basically because we didn't have a striker, Gray, Gordon, and all that lot got told you're the striker, so they all pushed for that striker position in dangerous positions. That's not happening.
That's what you should be doing in a 4-3-3.
Exactly.
Can go closer to the striker, and they're one of the midfielders at the tip of the three can go close, and you've got four in around the box. But what that requires is your fullbacks have to get forward, be able to be and get a ball in. Neither of those fullbacks couldn't even cross the halfway line. I'm sorry to say, no end product, no delivery, can't beat a man, brain dead.
I think Trippier was a good example, wasn't he, Ryan? Trippier today showed what we want.
Here's the question: like
the wingers can stay. Gordon and Gray would be very, very good 1v1.
Yeah, get in.
Or I would like to see them. They could run in behind. They've got pace to attack space.
You agree?
Or 1v1. Now, how can you have our wingers 1v1 against their fullback? Well, we need one of our fullback. Our fullbacks have got to get forward and drag the man away to create space for him to be 1v1. Because Gray, it's always Gray got to beat two people, or Gordon's got to beat two people.
Yeah. And then they overrun it. They overrun it on the wings, don't they?
So is a question. Looking forward to the next game, because I'm
not looking forward to it, but I know what you mean.
It's only three games away, and there's a word that just like occurred to me while I'm thinking about it, and I think it's a word that like suits what we aren't and what like Crystal Palace and other teams are. They're dynamic. And we're not. We're pedestrian. We are so pedestrian. Even though we've got some pace in the side, like you said, it's individual actions. It's like one player will do something, and then everyone else will kind of stand there and look at them as if like to say, "Well, what do we do now?" You get forward and support them. You break the lines. You create space. You do runs, and it's like you look at a team like Crystal Palace, and you look at players like Eze and who was the one we nearly bought? Zaha. Yeah. You look at players like that, and you think they're going to do us. I'm starting to feel quite fatalistic about this side. I know we can play a little bit better than we did today. I'm not convinced we've got that much.
Yeah, but it's because Lampard's not getting what we've. I know we've got some stuff that isn't good, but Lampard's not getting what we have good working. Like, when we come against Crystal Palace, they're better than us on the wings. Yes, I agree with you, Jeff. That we should be better than them in centre midfield because Crystal Palace centre midfield. We should be good in centre midfield now. We've brought the players. That's where we should be strong. Yeah, but why? We've got the players.
Crystal Palace match is Crystal Palace to not turn up first and foremost. For Everton to not make any individual mistakes, i.e., stupid back passes and get caught out, and to nick a goal either through some stupid defending from Palace, or
they've still got a win in them, right? There's a good team in some of these players. I'm telling you, this hand can be played better. These are not shit players. There's some really good players in it. We cried for a Ghana Gay back. And we want Onana. When we got him, instead of West Ham really wanted him, Onana is a good player. Lampard's not getting the best out of these players. We've got some good players. Don't start thinking we're shit because we're not. We're just not. We're playing shit.
Is Onana a really good player?
I think Onana can be a class player, but as Lampard got him,
he's not a class player. He's not a really good player now. I'm telling you, he could be. He could be, but he doesn't create anything. He makes bad passes, bad decisions, and he jogs around far too much for my liking.
The big problem is, though, the big problem is, Ryan, is with Onana.
He should be sweeping through that midfield, breaking through the lines, committing players, and doing a lot more. I'm sorry, he could be a world class player, but he's not. And the same with Garner. I think Garner's legs are completely gone. Idrissa Gueye, sorry, his legs are gone.
The thing we've got to remember, though, Ryan, with Onana is he's a work in progress. Isn't he?
I don't think
he's literally come into our team like he's a 29-year-old frigging. That's what we expect from him, but it's not going to happen, is it? He's not.
No.
2 points off relegation last season, and the stats don't lie. We've played 11 matches, we've won twice. It's relegation form overall. We're lucky, and we've got to do a lot more. I don't know whether it is a mentality problem. I think the two centre halves, they're not. Imagine Michael Keane in this team. It's not the same, and yet we're still not getting the results.
No,
I would have played Michael Keane today. I'd have played him up front.
I'm just hoping, that sounds really stupid, but it's not. Like, I've seen him doing finishing drills in training, and he's big in the air, and he puts himself about, and you think to yourself, why not? Like, why not? Literally, could he be? Here's the question: could he do any worse than the forwards that we've got playing up there now?
I think
genuinely.
We go direct. I think we might go direct and get a few wins, and the season's going to go out. I think we're going to go from the approach against Man U, which was a bit of neither here nor there. I've described it. The Man U and the Spurs. They were neither.
I think we need some injuries.
They were neither. Let's have a go, or let's.
What, to our team?
Yeah, I think we need some injuries. I think that's the problem. I think Lampard don't know how to pick the team, and I think at the moment we get injuries and the team picks itself, I think that's when it'll be good. Do you know what I mean?
The substitutions are too slow, and I don't think he really has some plans in some of these games. But we need to either commit to one way or another. Are we going to play low block and counter and play defensive and nick a win, or are we going to do this? Or are we going to go for it? The Spurs and the Man U games were neither here nor there.
I would literally go long ball. I would literally go long ball because we are not a good enough side. We are not a good enough footballing team to outpass people or to play through the lines. I would literally just have the two fastest players that we've got and a big lump up front, and literally just as soon as we get the ball back, the keeper gets it back, just hoof it up the fucking pitch and leg it.
We stopped winning.
Like, that's literally the best tactic we've got at the minute, and it's sad, but that's just a fact.
We brought him one of the best passes of the ball, Ghana Guy, and it should be open as past the ball.
You watched him play?
No, before we got him. Yeah, but if you go back to me and you on the channel, Jeff, and I could probably get the footage.
I was delighted that we were signing him. No, I agree,
we said he was going to be amazing, Jeff.
I know, but I've seen him in these last few games and he's been gash.
Yeah, but how can me and you be like, oh, we've got Ghana Guy, and you was the same, and I was everything's going to be sorted. It's exactly what we need. And we watched him and we said he's good. How can we get him and him not be playing good? It's got to be it's something with Lampard's systems not clicking and he's not getting the best out of the players, because I don't think Garner Gay's all of a sudden gone shit. Lampard's not got on
and I think it could go back to like last year. Like last year when Lampard came in and like he started off trying to get us to play football and through the lines and whatever, and we got a few absolute spankings. And then he was just like, oh, this team isn't good enough. We're just going to have to play long ball and keep it tight. And that's how we got enough results to get us over the line. But it was close and creaky. And I think that's exactly the same position we're in now, only we don't have the quality of forwards that we had then. We're slightly better. We're a bit better defensively. And we're a bit poorer going forward. So we literally... My only hope is that we just... squeak through a few points, get to the World Cup, get through like the couple of games after the new year, and literally buy like 2 or 3 players in January on the first day of the not on the last day of the fucking transfer window. I want them lined up ready so that they go buff straight in, and like
you know, Phil Kenwright and find out what's going on, since he's his fan, and just get look. We need some reassurance really, but. I think Garner, you know, he's 3 years older, 4 years older than when we had him the first time. He's a slower player. His legs aren't quite there. His football brain, in terms of his reading of it, is still there, I think. But he is exposed. You know, he's not playing with Kurt Zouma with him anymore, or who was the other? Better Mike. But I think we're only a few weeks away from a complete scrap of the system, and I tell you what he'll do. He'll go to 5 at the back. He'll bring in Mason Holgate or Ben Godfrey, and he'll play Dwight McNeil left wing back and Iwobi right wing back.
Or Patterson.
Wrap it.
Patterson.
Oh yeah, true. Well, is he going to come back? Is he fit?
Yeah, he's already training now, so he said
Patterson
he's going to be back.
I'll tell you
something.
something.
He said he won't be back for the Palace game, but he'll be back for the who do we play? Fulham after that.
Patterson was our best player. Patterson was, and we miss him like absolute crazy. He made just sometimes you take one thing out and it makes everything fall apart around it, and it feels like that's what's happened with Patterson, because when we went to Chelsea game, Jeff, how much was Patterson getting up? He was a right winger and he was a right back.
Yeah,
and I miss Patterson. Like, we knew Patterson was good and Mikalenko was okay. I think we've got something okay on the left, okay, nothing more. And then Patterson, you're missing something that's good. And if you're missing something that's good,
we do have to take into consideration that the last 3 games, 2 of those games are against very, very good sides who are going to finish in and around the Champions League positions, and we are not good enough realistically to be competing with those sides. We can fight and battle, but we're not in their league. So, you know, you could argue that we were probably expected to lose those 2 games on paper. And Newcastle away, again, they're better than us at the minute. That's just realistic. So, hang on, let me finish the point. So what I was going to say is those 3 games, I spoke on Twitter before those 3 games, and I tweeted about it and said, we're probably going to lose these next 3 games because we're not good enough. And we have to concentrate on the 3 games afterwards because they're against the teams that we're going to be in and around. They're the teams that we're on a near level par with them. And they're the games that are going to keep us up or relegate us. These are the games we have to win. Fulham away, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, Leicester. That's our competition, and they're the games we have to win. So I think these next 3 games, it's boring. These next 3 or 4 games, I know, but it's reality.
Yeah, but it's boring. We're straight in a relegation battle already.
But if you were to win the next 3 games, you would be straight up into mid-table.
I thought this season we'd just play. We'd go and try and play our football and just go about our football. No pressure this season at the start, and we'd end up mid-table and not be stressed. We're talking like we're in a relegation battle already, and that's just depressing. Yeah, no, but that's frustrating. That is, because you should never be in a relegation battle at the start of a season with this many games in. You shouldn't. Yeah, you should be able to. Yeah, but you should be able to play your first games free, and then if it isn't going right, then you're in a relegation battle. I don't think we're free. We're acting like we're in a relegation battle straight away. We're playing sitting back now,
No,
and
like
it's
I said,
going to be a long season.
if you look at the next 3 games or
They're
the next
hard.
4 games,
Newcastle wasn't
they
good
are
today.
tough. No, I know, but if you look at the next 4 games, you've got Palace at home, you've got Fulham away, you've got Leicester at home, and Bournemouth away. Now, they're all 4 games that we can be more competitive in, and we've got a chance of taking points, even if it's like 2 wins and a draw or something like that. Then you're sort of going up to the World Cup, and you're on 17 points off about 15 games or whatever, and that's fine. And then you get to January, and you add some more players. We definitely need more players. And then we just get through to the end of the season, and then we add more players in the summer. And it's a slow build process. But realistically, we aren't a massive step change from where we were last season, except we're a bit defensively better. We're a bit more solid. We need to add quality, and that's just where we are. It's not what you want to hear, and it's not happiness. And I'm not saying it because I want that to be the case. I'm just saying it because that's really where we are. We're not a good side. But
I
just
think
not.
we always thought, certainly the last 10 games, we always thought we had a chance in games because we had the 2 up top. And now I don't really think we have the goals. I mean, I think we can scrump a couple of wins, possibly Fulham away, maybe. I expect us to get a decent result this weekend. But,
Hopefully.
The team today, 2 best players out, Alan St. Maximum and Isaac, both injured.
Yeah.
And, we've gone for it. They were there for the taking.
Yeah, I like I say, I think we can be. I know you say, Jeff, that we're not. This is what we are. We're not good, but I think we can be a lot better. I really do, and I generally do think that last season, when we was in that relegation battle and we drew against Man City, and that Man City game we was in it. Sorry, and the
hey, everybody, comment of the day. Nice one, Bob. It's not necessarily relevant, but I feel it. I know exactly what you mean.
Is Dan got a studio?
Sorry?
Dan's got a new studio with the curtains.
No, I thought someone banged on the window because I was shouting.
I think we're all a bit. I don't know. Sorry, I don't know how reactionary we've been tonight. But actually, a spade is still a spade. I've been adamant about individuals all season. I've said about Onana and the jogging, and I think there's more from him, the better finishing. I've said Mykolenko all along, no tactical quality, 2 centre-backs with no pace, and an isolated striker. And the you're right, McNeil, etc. is a sub, Damari Gray. The thing with him is he's so talented, and he'll look amazing in one game, and then 3 games he'll look poor. And I don't think we can afford to have players like that.
No.
I don't think we can have them at this level.
No, and like I say, by this time next year, obviously I'd like it to be in January. But I would argue that if we get the right players in January and in the summer, none of those forward players who are starting for us now will start for us next game in our first choice 11. Like if we'd have got Kudos in, like, he would be a guaranteed starter for us. If we'd have brought in that Geico, whatever his name is it Geico or?
No, he's going more Man U, wasn't he? I read today.
No, I know, yeah. But if we'd have got any of those kind of players in, they would be guaranteed. No, I know, but they would guaranteed be nailed on starters. I think if we'd have got that Brereton Diaz in, he would be starting up front for us because he's a finisher. If we'd have got who was the one who went to West Ham that we were supposed to be buying from Burnley?
Bowen.
No, the one we were supposed to be buying and didn't.
Cornetto.
Yeah, Cornet. Yeah, he would be starting for us. Like, because he's better than what we've got.
At what point are we actually going to say that it's a fucking disgrace, the recruitment, that it's the same inept recruitment every season, no matter who is brought in or whoever buys him? And the only thing that's the same level of continuity is the chairman and the owner of the club. That's the only thing.
I don't want to go down that. I don't want to go down that road.
I'm not picking. I'm not picking.
No, I know.
I'm just saying it's the same recruitment. And at what point? How much, Jeff? I'm asking you this question, not the comments. I want your here. We've been cutting money and cost cutting for 2 years. Okay, we spent nothing last window. We spent a small amount in January, but we sold Luca Dean. And the net spend in the summer was marginal, and the outlay marginal. At what point do we actually have to start spending some money? We've got rid of Sigurdsson, Cenk Tosun, Fabian Delph, massive wages. Andre Gomez, Jean-Philippe Cabamin, Alan, massive wages. John Joe Kenny, modest wages. But you get the point. We've got rid of a lot of players. At what point are we going to sit and say, actually, we need to spend some money and actually buy some players that are going to improve us and make us competitive?
It has to be now, because if you're looking at us this season, right? Anybody who doesn't know anything about football was to just drop into a room and like give their opinion about the football teams in this league and go, what are the strengths and weaknesses of every team in the league? They'd get to Everton and go, yeah, they're shit up front. That's it. It's not really rocket science. Like, we need more options up front. There's not enough goals in our team. There's not enough goals in our team. That's proven. We've played 9 games, and we've got 2 players who've got 2 goals, and they're our top scorers. 2 players who've got 2 goals. For a Premier League side, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. I mean, there should be at least somebody who's on like 4 or 5 or something like that. You know, that's a 1 in 2 striker. Or even 4 goals after 11 games. That would be a reasonable level. We've got a couple of wingers who've got 2 goals, and we've got like Iwobi's got 1 goal. We've got who else has got a goal?
Cody.
Cody's got a goal.
I think Neil Maupay's good. Who sanctioned?
Oh, he's got 1.
Stick Neil Maupay up front, 5'8", up against 2 centre halves. He's not got any pace. He's not strong, and he's a 1 in 4 striker at best. Who sanctioned?
He's a bench player.
Who sanctioned that for 15 million?
It wasn't 15. It was.
Who thought that Mike McNeil, who scored nothing and got no assists and no goals in a struggling team last season, is going to come in to another struggling team and magically hit double figures and replace our best player and our most important players? I'm sorry, but it's garbage.
The big problem was that obviously Everton thought we're going to focus on the centre backs and the centre mid because we were shit there last season. So they'd spent all the budget on there, and then when it come to getting attacking players, we didn't have no money. Like, McNeil cost 5 million, and that's the reason we got him. He's 5 million spread over time. So for 5 million, we couldn't get no other winger.
If we were certain of a player abroad, Dan, why couldn't we offered installments and said, look,
we could. We'll
definitely do an owner deal for someone abroad. You know,
I agree with you. It was frustrating. Did you hear McNeil say? I don't know whether you watched one of the. It was when Maupay, Onana, and McNeil went to the one of the events, and McNeil said, "I had a word with Tarkowski saying, do everything you can to get Everton to sign me." He said that on one of the things. He said, "I said to Tarkowski, just get them to sign me because I really want to go to Everton." So I found that interesting. It felt like your mate's putting a good word for you. That's what it sounded like.
I'm assuming
that was a big part of the reason we got him.
You're a happy Newcastle fan.
I don't think Newcastle are as good as the fans make out. They should be happy, but
I was just going to say that
I think they're going to finish in the European places this year, and I'll tell you why. Because they are a team that are a really, really strong side defensively, as proven. They went to Man United and United didn't even touch them. And they basically play in with 2 of their best players missing and easily beat us today. I just think they're a solid side who aren't going to lose many games because they don't concede many goals. They've got the best defensive record in the league. And once they've got their players fit, they've got serious threats. So they're going to give every single team in this league. I mean, they've already done it to Newcastle, to Man City. They gave Man City a game. They gave Liverpool a game. They'll give everybody a game because they're a hard-working team. They're a well-coached team. And when their players are fit, they've got serious threats all over. They've got big strikers. They've got classy players. They've got players who can play through the lines. They're just a really good, solid side. And that's exactly what we were under David Moyes. They're like a better version of a David Moyes size.
Here's a good point for you. You two have been moaning about attackers, and Jeff, you said that everybody's got better attackers than us. The Newcastle side today, who was their attackers? You tell me who Newcastle as good attackers was that were so incredible.
I don't even think it was individuals as per se. I just thought.
This is what I'm saying. Their manager is better. This is what I'm saying. He's better than Lampard. It's not the players. We keep saying, we need. Go on.
The first thing I said when I came on the stream, I talked about Eddie Howe and the tactics.
Yeah,
that's what. Yes, Eugene. How the wingers were pushed back. How our midfield was suffocated and not allowed to play through, and how Calvert-Lewin was isolated, and how the fullbacks didn't bomb on, etc., etc.
Yeah. He's getting the worst. He's getting the worst out of our team. Like
you do have to respect players like Almiron and Guimaraes. They're top quality players. They are quality players.
He's the midfielder, Guimaraes, though. I'm saying they play 4-3-3 on their three attackers, Jeff. You tell me why frigging Wilson, who they got the striker? The striker was... No, they didn't play Willock at the start, did they? They played... who did they play? Wilson. Then they played Murphy, and then they played that one that scored. Are you telling me that Calvert-Lewin, Gordon and Gray can't be as good as them? Why? Why though? That's the question. Why?
Why? They're not. Because the proof of the pudding's in the eating, because we've watched them play.
The game was won because they played better as a team.
I don't actually agree with you, Jeff. I think a lot of it...
Calvert-Lewin's better than Wilson. Calvert-Lewin's better than Wilson, surely. Go on, Ryan. Sorry.
I think today it was tactics. That's what I'm putting it down. A poor performance, but a lot of very, very inept tactic. The setup was bad. The approach was bad. Everything was wrong. And I think Newcastle, I don't look at their team and think, I saw the two lineups. I didn't look at their team and think that was, I must have that Newcastle team over us. I thought we've got two decent centre halves. Up front, we've got pace and we've got some skill, and Calvert-Lewin could either line a focal point. We've got midfield who can run with high energy, supposedly. I wasn't particularly coming into the game scared about anything. I just think it was some tactical problems as well. Also, the goal, Mykolenko caught out of position. Then he comes inside. No one's stopping the shot. It all comes from an attacking move breaking down. It was garbage.
Three centre midfielders and you can't even close a shot down from that far out. Yeah, it's shocking. It's happening a lot. It seems we're playing with three centre midfielders and they're all being really lazy because there's a lot of numbers there. Yeah. I think sometimes we'd play better if we had two centre midfielders just because they know they'd have to run the bollocks off. Do you know what I mean? That's how I feel. I feel because there's three, sometimes they think they're that close to each other that they know they don't have to do that much, so they're lazy.
I do understand, by the way, that maybe I'm being a little bit overly critical because I'm kind of just fed up of it, and maybe I'm being slightly too harsh on certain players. And you might say, well, yeah, but they can play better and stuff like that. But like, I just look at it and I just think, well, Demarai Gray, look at his record. He's 26 years old. He's never done it. He's been okay every now and then. He's turns up maybe five, 6 times a season. Demarai Gray will put in a performance where you go, wow, he's amazing. 10 times you're putting a performance where he's putting a decent effort and he's been all right, and then the rest he'll be average or subpar. So he's not a consistently quality player. You look at Anthony Gordon, you can say he works hard and he does this and does that. But if you look at his record, he doesn't create a lot. He doesn't score many goals. Look at DCL, even before this injury. Look at his overall record in his career. He's played like 150 games and he scored like, 13 goals or something like that. It's not an outstanding record. His best period in sort of nearly 3.5, 4 years is he scored 13 league goals in one season. That's his best season. So that's his best level when he was playing under Carlo. And when he was playing under Carlo, and when he was playing with a player of the crushing quality of Dina, and a player like you were talking about before.
James, Sigurdsson.
James, Sigurdsson. He was playing with players who could get the ball to him, and that's when he scored goals. So that was his peak level. That was he could be that good. That's his high watermark. So if you're looking at all these players, the high watermark of their careers, if you look at them all, isn't high. It's average. That's their high watermark, is average. And so when they don't reach their high watermark, they become less than average. That's my whole point.
But the Newcastle manager has got every one of those players playing at the high watermark.
Yeah, and that's
the difference.
Yeah.
That's why I keep saying
that's fair comment. That is fair comment. But my comment isn't like that. Okay. But my comment is that even if we get all these players playing at their absolute best, I still don't think they're very good.
I think they would be good. I know. I think that's a bit doom and gloom, because I think if you get Calvert-Lewin at his best, you can easily just think about the shit of him, but think about the good of him. When he was under Carlo, he was good. He was having a real good. Yeah. Same with Damari Gray when he played against Arsenal. He scored that screamer. Lampard has to get the best out of all these players. Gordon is good. Gordon is good. Like Gordon, Chelsea wanted him. And think he wanted. I know what you're saying, Jeff. You can pull faces. He's not playing good, but that's. I want them to freaking make him play good. He's fast. He's skillful. He needs to get in the box. Players are scared of Gordon.
Yeah,
but we don't. But we don't use him. We don't use him well. It's our fault.
You make a good point, but if you're coming into this team now as manager, both of you, you've watched Everton every single game. Forever, for as long as you can remember. Say with me, we know these players better than anyone. I would say, what are the strengths of Calvert-Lewin? Well, he's deadly around the 6-yard box, and he's useless everywhere else. He's very good at holding the ball up and very good at his leap and his chest control and playing off him on long balls and stuff. But he's not really, he hasn't got anything around the build-up, etc., etc. How can you get the ball in the 6-yard box? Okay, so potentially getting our wingers 1v1 with the opposition fullbacks and not expecting them to have to beat 2 fullbacks and the centre mid. So we need our fullback or our central midfielder to drag other people out of position to create some space to allow that ball in. This is the sort of thing we should be working on the training ground. What are the strengths?
We don't see it.
Individual players. What are the weaknesses? What's the strength of Onana? Big, strong. He should be able to go past people, break the lines. And by doing that, he makes other people have to compensate for that and cause problems.
Good point.
See that from Lampard. If I don't start seeing that from Lampard very, very soon, I will be calling for his head. He's been
I'm thinking up to the World Cup. If we're not, I think it's got to be like. I think it's got to be at least 7 points from the next 4 games. Yeah. At least 7 points from the next 4 games, or I'll be on the same boat as you and saying like it might be time for him to go, because we cannot afford as a club to get relegated. We can't afford it. We're 1 year, 18 months away from the new stadium. And we can't afford to go to that new stadium being a championship club. We can't.
The wage bill. That's a lot of this, I think, is preparation for either heavy intensive recruitment, or we go down and we have high earners on there.
I think it's really frustrating with Lampard, because I think he's a manager that he gets your players like listening to him. That's one of his strengths. And I think he's a big draw. He's a big pull. People want to come and play for Lampard, but I don't think he's tactically got it up there. I think that's where Eddie Howe is above him. He's not that clever with his tactics and getting us to play good football. He hasn't got us playing football, and we need someone to come in and just say, this is how you play football. Because we don't know how to play. Is he just
a likable person, a likable character for the players? Or actually, have you seen anything that makes you think, oh, actually, he's done really well with Iwobi, But what about other players? Lampard was box to box, arriving late, vision. Why is he not coaching one of our midfielders to come in and arrive in the box late and support the striker? I just want to see more. I just want to see more from him to be able to get the best out of the players and play to their strengths and what are they good at. And if in Calvert-Lewin, let's say he gets a run of 10 games and he's not scoring goals, I'd be putting question marks. How can we get the best out of Calvert-Lewin? How can we get him in the 6-yard box? The tap-ins. How can we disrupt opponents? Because I'm not saying right now he needs to go. He doesn't need to go right now. But I'm saying we have to get more out of this group. We've got to do it because otherwise we're going to be in big trouble, and then that's his job.
It's a very dangerous topic to talk about Lampard because you'll get loads of people. I don't know. I haven't read I'm reading the comments, but no one said anything. But
the football's not been good in the games,
no,
and it wasn't particularly anything to write home about. It was the fans who kept us up last season.
It's because it's very likable. Does that make it dangerous?
He's a nice
Does
guy.
that make it dangerous?
I like him, but the same with Mykolenko. Everyone was afraid to criticize him for 6 months because he's from Ukraine. I had his card marked very quickly and thought he's a slow, sluggish, technically poor defender who offers zilch, and he's reliable, but you need more from a player at the Premier League level. Everyone's a good defender. It's how good you are going forward that makes you a top fullback at this level. And I call people out. A spade is a spade. I'm not going to come and butter it. I think we'll actually, believe it or not, I think we'll beat Crystal Palace on Saturday, and that'll keep this side.
We have to.
Big. I think we'll win, but then we'll go shit, and we'll probably draw and lose and draw. And I just think we'll finish the season on about 38 points, 36 to 38.
The thing that frustrates me is if we beat Crystal Palace, I want us to get something that we're going to take into the next game. I don't just want to have a random good game and beat Crystal Palace by luck. I want us to start showing something that we can build on, because
that's why I'm saying these next 4 games.
Yeah,
and that's what I said before these other 3 games. I wrote them off and I said we're not going to win any of these next 3 games. And some people agreed with me, some people didn't. But I gave them reasons why. We gave them reasons why because just But these games, these are the games that we need to be getting the serious points from, because these are the games that keep us up. Like, we have to win our home games. And we know why we got in trouble last year is because we were getting beat at home by teams like fucking Watford. You can't be getting spanked at home by a team like Watford and help, without getting into serious trouble. So we need to be winning our home games against the teams that we should be getting 3 points against the teams in the bottom half of the league. And if you do that, you just get 4 or 5 draws and like the odd away win here and there. That's enough to keep you in the league, and that's all we really need to do is just get enough to stay in the league. It's unambitious and it sounds miserable and it is depressing. But I just think that we need to just do the best we can, and we get to January and we add some quality forward players who are genuinely not. Like, I like McNeil, he's all right, he's a nice lad, but he's a bench player. I like Mopé, he's a good worker and stuff like that, but he's not a top line striker. So again, he's someone he's going to be on the bench. We need a proper good striker to compete with or play alongside DCL, and we need a proper genuine winger, not like a sort of inside forward or whatever, like a Gordon or a Gray, because Gordon and Gray are both good. They run with the ball and whatever, and they'll get you with the odd goal and stuff. But we haven't got a proper winger who's going to get down the side and whip the ball in. And that's, I think, what we really need is, if we've got a big forward up front, get down the side and whip the ball across to him. Let him chase that. Let him actually attack the ball, because the thing is, if you're playing balls to DCL with his back to goal, he's not good. He's not a good back to goal striker like a Harry Kane or whatever. He can pick up the ball with his back to goal and turn and lever it. That's not DCL. So we need. I think
that's one of the good things he actually can do. I think he's good at holding
not from outside the area. I was meaning, he can turn in the box. Yeah, that's what I'm saying is we need to be getting the ball down the channels and getting the balls into him. And yeah, he can turn and finish it from close range. But we need to play a style of football that suits the players that we've got, not play a style of football that suits a vision in your head, because a vision in your head doesn't translate to results on the pitch. You know,
So
you've got to be pragmatic.
You would like to see your wingers 1v1. You would like to see Gray and Gordon running in behind. But if you haven't got anyone who can play the pass in behind the channel, then it's a completely nullified thing. So I think there's so many problems that kind of a reason why you can't do that. I can't have my strength as high because they got no pace. I have to have my fullbacks defensively to cover. So there's a lot of reasons why things can't be the way you want. I actually think it's time to
that comment was true. That was just up your front.
Yeah.
You said it a couple of times. Like a front line isn't good. Our front line's good, but there's no service. It's not the front line. I know you keep saying we need a winger to be good. We need a striker to be good. Today we had good enough players. Calvert-Lewin, Gordon, and Gray should be good enough. But the problem was, the problem was we had 50% possession today. We was in this game. They wasn't that. They were okay, but we was in this game because we had 50% possession. When we had possession in our centre midfield, we did nothing with it. That's the problem. That it's not the strikers. I'm not going to blame Calvert-Lewin today because we didn't give him no service.
No, I'm not blaming Calvert-Lewin.
Great, Gordon and Gray. They've got to be next to him. Calvert-Lewin, if you play the ball to Calvert-Lewin's feet, which he can hold up, by the way, if you play the ball to Calvert-Lewin's feet, if he's got two players marking him and none of our players close to him, they're going to get the ball off him. Someone needs to be right next to Calvert-Lewin. Then he's got someone to work with, and that's where we go wrong. We've got to get Gray and Gordon in there with him. And I think the formation needs to change now. I think we need to play with Patterson putting the crosses in because I want to see Gordon in the box. I don't want to see him on the right wing. I want to see him in the box. And I think this is never going to happen, by the way. I want to see Vinagre play left wing back because he puts good crosses in. He set one up when we watched him. He's a good crosser of the ball. And I think because Mikalenko's crossing hasn't been that good, but it won't happen. Lampard's going to keep playing Mikalenko. And I just want Lampard to say, I'm the boss. And if you're not doing I'm going to change
genuinely, if we don't win on... Is it Saturday we play?
Yeah, but do it before we don't win. Why don't you make the change as a reaction?
What I was going to say... No, I wasn't going to say that. What I was going to say is if we don't win... If we don't win on Saturday, I think the calls for Lampard out are going to start getting louder.
Do something then, isn't it?
We have to win on Saturday.
Needs to do something. Needs to make changes. If something don't work, change it. It's got some tools to use. It's like we haven't got a backup left back.
Dan, you said 50% possession, but we had no shots on target.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying to you. The problem was not the attackers.
No one making clever runs to drag anyone out of position. No one willing to run past anyone. No one willing to break the lines. And I think what you get then is a very predictable, slow team with that offers nothing. And Newcastle, as they say, sat in when they needed to, stopped us from playing as open. If you look at Newcastle compared to us, when they had the ball, they had acres of space to run into an attack on the transition. When we had the ball, absolutely nowhere to go. And our wingers were man-marked tightly, touch tight from behind. And on that bombshell, I think it is time to wrap things up. And
we said that we were stressed.
We're stressed.
It's been a good session, though. This has been a good session because it's one of those where we're not all going to agree.
Probably just waiting for me and you to kick off, Jeff. They probably thought, right, these two are on. We're going to get on this and see these two kick off again. Right. Not today. Maybe next time.
You too. There's no point coming on this channel. I mean, in reaction to the video, a lot of people watched it, the last video, and I spoke to you about it. There's no point coming on this channel and sitting and me going, yes, I agree. Yes, it's boring. Have your own opinion. Stand by your opinions and enjoy it. This is your space to speak.
That was pretty brutal, to be fair.
We bring everyone's comments.
It's like a boxing match live on the channel.
It was entertaining.
It was entertaining
for you, not entertaining for me and Jeff. Not entertaining for me and Jeff.
It got good views. Like
you both had good points.
Controversy and stress sells.
You know what? You were both right.
Doesn't feel good though.
You were both right.
It doesn't feel good though. I don't want to be one of those presenters because we don't pretend. We go at it hardcore.
But
Yeah,
you
we
were
do,
both,
yeah.
you were both right in your own way. You were actually both right, and it was very entertaining and very enjoyable. On that bombshell, thank you for watching, everyone. Jeff, Dan,
Thanks everyone.
for coming on. Always a pleasure. Thanks for starting the video as well.
Try and
we'll be
sleep.
back on Friday or Thursday. I'll let everyone know on social media. If you haven't already subscribed, hit the like and subscribe button. As always, thank you so much.
Nice to have you on as well, Ryan.
Let's go and shoot ourselves or stick our head in the oven because Everton are back.
Nice one. See you all
Or
later.
did we never go away?
Oh no, the stress is back.